If you're a financial advisor in your first 4 years and you're watching this, I want you to know something before I say anything else. What you're feeling right now, the anxiety about income, the frustration with prospecting, the sense that you're working harder than the results show, the quiet question late at night about whether you're in the right career, that's not evidence that you don't belong here. It's evidence that nobody has given you what you actually need. My name's Steve Cashdollar. I've been a financial advisor for over 25 years, and I've watched hundreds of talented, well intentioned advisors leave this industry. Not because they weren't capable, but because they were never taught how to survive it, how to build it, how to build inside it, how to be themselves inside it. Cashdollar is my real name, by the way, just in case you're a little skeptical. I was born that way. Sorry about that. This video is about what nobody told you when you started and about a different way forward. Stay with me for just 20 minutes, and I think it'll change how you see your career and it could transform you. Let me tell you what I see when I work with new advisors. I see someone who went into this career because they genuinely wanted to help people. They cared about their financial security and other people's, and they believed in their work. And then reality hit. The prospecting calls that go nowhere, the feeling that you can't differentiate yourself from the other 50 advisors in your market who are saying essentially the same things you are, the income that is there 1 month and terrifying the next month, the pressure from your firm to produce results before you've had time to build real relationships. I know, it happened to me too. The self esteem that started strong is slowly, quietly eroded by some of the rejection and other things you deal with. By comparison, by the sneaking suspicion that the people ahead of you must know something you don't. And then there's the training, the scripts and the techniques and the closing lines that your manager swears by, and the 100 phone calls, techniques that were taught to them by someone who learned them maybe 30 years ago for a totally different buyer investor in a completely different world than what you're in. So you try them, they feel wrong, they produce resistance, they they produce a possible prospect that can feel the performance or and they pull back because it's wrong. The modern buyers changed completely. The modern investor, they're informed. They're more skeptical too. They're more protective of their time and they're allergic. Genuine allergy. The allergic phenomenon to being sold to. And that approach, the approach that your training handed you, was not built for who they are. The approach that your training handed you was not built for who the new buyer, the new investor is, and trying to make it work's costing you. Your results, your confidence, your energy, and your sense of who you actually are as an advisor. Here's what I learned in over 25 years that nobody teaches in any financial services training program I've ever seen. The advisors who make it, the ones who build real practices, real income, real client relationships, they don't win because they have the best products or even the smoothest presentation or the most aggressive follow up system. No, they win because of who they are. They know their natural strengths, they build everything around them. The relationship builder who's genuinely warm and remembers everything about your client's family, that's not a soft skill. That's a career building weapon. And when you show up to every conversation with genuine curiosity, authentic curiosity about the person across from you, not strategic curiosity, not canned discovery questions, not performed curiosity, but real interest, clients feel it and they don't leave. They've been looking for someone like you, the analytical advisor who brings depth and precision to every plan, that thoroughness, that reliability, that willingness to do the harder work. That's what certain clients have been looking for their entire financial lives, and they never quite found it. But the educator who makes complexity simple. People used to say to me, Steve, you take something that's complex and make it simple. I've never had it described that way, or something like that. I never made a client feel embarrassed for not knowing something. I was told that quality is extraordinarily rare. I guess it is. And the clients who find it never go anywhere else. And they refer their cousin and their neighbor and their coworker and their significant other and their mother. I took a character strengths assessment earlier in my career, and I discovered 4 things about myself that I had never seen clearly before. Nobody ever told me. I have a love of learning. I'm positive about the future. I'm loyal. I'm adventurous. I knew that. And when I understood those things, when I stopped trying to be the advisor I thought I was supposed to be and started building around who I am actually, everything changed. I became more authentically curious about my clients, and the conversations got a lot better. No kidding. The trust came faster. The referrals started coming naturally, not because I had a new script, but because I stopped performing one. And that's what's available to you too. Let me give you an idea that I want you to take away from this video, even if you don't do anything else. It's a formula, 3 letters, E plus R equals O. I learned that from my friend Jack Canfield. Event plus response equals outcome. You cannot control the market. No, that's the event. You cannot control whether a prospect calls you back. That's more, the event. You cannot control your firm's lead quality or your territory's demographics or the timing of someone else's financial readiness. Those are not in your control. Those are the events. They happen to you. It's the way of the world. But your response, the R, how you interpret what happens, what you do next, the story you tell yourself about what the silence means, that's entirely yours. Here's the thing most advisors never realize. When a prospect doesn't call back, that advisor tells himself a story. They call it getting ghosted. They say it like it's a fact, but ghosted is not a fact. It's an interpretation. It's your reaction. The actual fact is no response has been received yet. That's all. That's it. Everything else, the meaning, the verdict, the erosion of your self-worth, that's a story. And that story poisons every follow-up call you make because now you're calling from a place of wounded confidence rather than genuine curiosity. The advisors who build lasting careers have learned to hold silence as unresolved rather than as rejection. They stay curious. And they follow up like someone who really believes in the value of their conversation because they really do. So that shift from I got ghosted to no response yet. What's my next best move? What's the next right thing for me to do? It's not a small thing. It's the difference between a career that compounds and one that erodes. There are 6 more frameworks like this one, 7 total, and each one addresses a specific thing that's either building your career or quietly working against it. And together they form a complete system, not for selling harder, but for becoming the kind of advisor that the modern investor, the modern buyer, is looking for and almost never finding. So I want to tell you why I built this program. It wasn't because I had a perfect career. It was because what I watched happen to other advisors, people I respected, people who had genuine talent, who left this industry because nobody gave them the right foundation. I also watched advisors fail because they tried to use old, rigid, pressure-based techniques on buyers who saw right through them. And I tried that for a while too, but I couldn't quit. I couldn't fail. I was involved in a perfect storm. I had to make this career work. I was fired. I was divorced. I moved to a new city. There's a perfect storm. And now a new career. But I watched advisors fail because they tried to clone the top producer instead of building around who they actually were. I tried that a little bit myself too, and it doesn't work. It wasn't until I figured out how I could do it in my style, with my talents, my skills, my abilities, what was comfortable for me. So I watched advisors fail because nobody told them that resilience is a skill you can build. It's not a personality trait that you either have or don't. Resilience, determination, focus. And I watched advisors succeed sometimes against every odd because they figured it out, usually the hard way, what this program is designed to give you from the start. I watched advisors fail because they tried to use old, rigid, pressure-based techniques, and I did that too for a while, on the buyers or investors who saw right through them. I watched advisors fail because they tried to clone the top producer. I did that for a while too, instead of building around who they actually were in their own style, with their own skills, their own talents, their own abilities, what was comfortable to them. I watched advisors fail too because nobody told them that resilience is a skill. It's a grit your teeth skill you build deliberately. It's not a personality trait you either have or don't. And I watched advisors succeed too, sometimes against every odd, because they figured out, usually the hard way, what this program is designed to give you from the start. Over 25 years in this career, hundreds of client relationships, a practice built around my genuine strengths, not someone else's template. I know what the first 4 years in this career demands. I know what breaks people, and I know what builds them. And I built this program, the Accelerator, because this transformational work is not being taught anywhere in financial services. Not like this, but it should be. Here's what I'd like to offer you. A 45-minute strategy session, just you and me, Free, not a sales call, a real conversation, the kind I've been describing throughout this video. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to listen, and you can ask questions. And I want to understand where you are right now, what's working, what isn't working, what's keeping you up at night, and what you actually want your career to look like. And by the end of that conversation, you'll have at least one specific actionable thing you can do differently, whether we work together or not. If what I've shared in this video resonated with you, if you've recognized yourself in any of it, then I'd like to have that conversation, and you're invited. The link to book is in the description below. It takes 60 seconds. You pick a time that works for you. Fair enough? I want to say one more thing before you go. Thanks for watching. The career you came into this industry to build, the one where you are genuinely helping people, where the income's real and growing, and where you feel competent and confident and proud of the work you do, that's available to you. Not by working harder, more hours, not by using more aggressive techniques, not by becoming someone you're not, but knowing who you are, building around your genuine strengths, learning to have the kinds of conversations that display your competency and that build real trust, and staying in the career long enough for everything you're building right now to show up in your results. That's what the accelerator is built to do. I hope to talk to you soon, and I look forward to meeting you.